Hey Jen. Yeah, so we're talking shoulder and neck stability, and you really have to appreciate how closely tied the neck and shoulder and thoracic spine are together. So we're going to be addressing both of those today, but with more of an emphasis on stability. Hi Emily. So we're talking about stability of the shoulder blade, and the neck. And we can't talk about this stuff without thoracic mobility. And unfortunately, when people talk about shoulder stability, we often, yeah, Charlie, that was good. So oftentimes when we talk about shoulder stability, people think about shoulders down and back, like pinching down and back. And that is a position of stability, but I would actually argue that it's a position of rigidity. And some people might say I'm what's the saying? 2 half dozens and 1 dozen of the other, whatever it is. But stability is the ability to control your body through range of motion. If I lift my arm up, I have good stability in my shoulder, but I also have to have good flexibility and mobility to express that stability. So stability is control through range of motion, but rigidity is control at a range of motion. So if I hold my arm out to the side and I try to push it around and I can't move it, I'm being rigid in my shoulder. And then there's stiffness, and stiffness is just basically passive stability of a joint. Maybe it's through arthritis or previous tendon injuries, things like that. It's not something that we shoot for, it's something that we might have, but it does create stability within the joints. But today, like I said, we are talking stability. And we need to be able to control the shoulder through all these ranges of motion, internal, external, and our neck through all these ranges of motion. And to do that, we need lots of control, and we need to practice these things. And so one common thing with joints that need lots of stability, like our shoulder and our neck, is that they have vast degrees of freedom, right? I can put my head in all these different positions. Same thing with my shoulder. I have tons of movement in those joints. Therefore, I need to have tons of control. So yes, my shoulder is a mobile joint, but it has to be stable. It has to be possess stability, or I'm going to be setting myself up for injury or pain later on, maybe. So stability is the name of the game today. We are going to go over probably 3 to 4 mobility, flexibility drills kind of at the very beginning, and then the rest of it is talking about how to control your shoulder blade, and neck. So this stuff is intended just for information. Do with it what you will. Maybe some of the things help you feel better, maybe they don't, and if they don't, just take a break. We've got like 10 things going on today. Just wait for the next one. We're only going to be doing anything on any particular side for probably a minute at the most. So so we're talking about shoulder stability and neck stability. And I asked you guys, if you have a foam roller, if you could grab it, that would be awesome. If you don't have a foam roller, the first drill you're going to be doing are cats and cows, cats and camels, peaks and valleys, whatever you want to call them, on your hands and knees, to start mobilizing your entire spine. Where the rest of us who have foam rollers, we're going to be just rolling up and down the back and producing some thoracic extension. So we're going for an area of our spine that needs some mobility. You'll see I got my shorts on, I got my milky white thighs on today. They haven't been outside too much because of this virus, but all right, so we've got our foam roller. We're going to be just placing it on the ground. And if you don't have a foam roller, I'll put a link in my profile later where you can get this good one. It comes with a bunch of other mobility balls and massage sticks and things like that. So we got our foam roller, we're putting it on the ground. And it's going to go right in the area between our shoulder blades, our thoracic spine. It's the part of our spine that all of our ribs attach to. It's an area of our spine where we should have tons of mobility, lots of movement. And so you're going to lift your butt. You can support your head if you want, and we're just going to be rolling up and down. And we're going to avoid our neck, and you're going to avoid your low back. So we're going up and down. We'll go up and down about 10 times or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe for about a minute. And just support your neck if your neck's been bothering you. Maybe get some cracks and pops. It's all good stuff. You guys keep going. I'm just going to move this microphone so you guys can maybe hear me a little bit better. There we go. All right, so All right, so a couple more up and down. And then we're gonna plant our butt down on the ground. All right, so this thing is pretty much square in the middle of my shoulder blades. Now if I go to extend, my shoulder blades, which are two flat plates on my back, aren't gonna allow very much movement. So I'm gonna give myself a big hug, get my shoulder blades out of the way. I'm gonna keep my butt down on the ground, and I'm gonna arch over. And I'm gonna go up and down 2 or 3 times, and then I'm gonna move the foam roller up my back by moving my body down. So I move my body down, that foam roller goes up a little bit. I'm getting some extension in my mid-back. Also my shoulder blades, and my shoulder and my neck can produce more stability. And last one, last little area. Maybe your neck is working and that's okay. It's okay to strengthen your neck. All right. So if you were doing your cats and camels, you can stop right about now, but we're gonna continue on with another thoracic spine mobility drill. We're gonna just be doing open books. This is probably like the 100th time I've already had people do open books on these little virtual clinics, but you're gonna be on your side with your knees pulled up towards your chest. Both knees are stacked, bottom knee is on the ground. Your bottom hand is then gonna come and hold these knees down. Now, you're gonna open up away and try to get your top shoulder, the back of your top shoulder, onto the ground behind you. However, if your knees start coming off the ground, that's where you're done, okay? If you do that here and your knees come up, that's it. It's a self-limiting exercise. But as you do more and more, you're breathing out as you go back, you should get more range of motion. We're gonna do about 10 on each side. Opening up our chests, stretching our pecs, mobilizing thoracic spine. You got 2 more to go. Maybe you can hear the reggae I got going on. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles. It's only gonna get nicer this week. I think it's gonna be in like the 80s a little bit later. Hopefully I'm not covered up too much by these comments. Opening up. I'll adjust that in a minute. And we're going for 10 on this side too. A little bit stiffer on this side for me. If you want to get a little bit more pec stretch, you can reach up here towards your head. You can smack that metal rig behind me. 9 and 10. Okay, so we have foam rolled, extended, and open up with some rotation in our thoracic spine. But a lot of times, our spine kind of gets ignored in the side bending realm, okay? So we've talked about how rotation to one side extends the spine on that side while flexing the other side. But we don't often talk about how side bending can help us, where side bending is extending on the closing side and flexing on the opening side. So we're gonna go through a progressible thoracic spine mobility drill, and all you have to do is sit down like a 90-90 sit, but if this bothers your knees, you can still stack. I like the 90-90, but that's just a personal preference. You're gonna go on to, I'm gonna adjust this screen so you can see me a little better. Sorry guys. All right. Okay, so you have your legs split, and you're gonna be down on your forearm. Now when you do this, there's gonna be a tendency maybe to shrug down into it, and that's actually a good thing, because if you're shrugging, you then want to undo it, so you kind of anti-shrug. So you're like, okay, this is the position we wanna be in. Shrug to find the position you don't wanna be in. Your elbow and your hand are underneath your shoulder, and you unshrug to get in the stable shoulder position that's gonna allow us to mobilize our thoracic spine a little bit better. And so from here, we're going to actually side bend in each direction. It looks a little funny, but we're side bending to the right, side bending to the left, all the while about having a nice stable shoulder. So I'm pushing away from the ground. I'm using my shoulder stability muscles. Here we go, one more. And we're gonna stay in this leg position, but then we're gonna go up here. And if you're finding that this is difficult, you don't quite understand the movement, or if it's very foreign, that's telling you something. That's saying like, hey, maybe this is something that I need to practice a little bit more, because in all the movements that we do a little bit of side bend here and there throughout the day with our rotation. You know, say we're playing golf, we have a lot of side bend in our spine as we do that. We're picking up something off the ground on one side of our body, we're side bending with that. So it is something that you want to be able to possess in your spine. And so if you're really struggling with the side bend, side to side, this is going to be something that maybe you should take with you to help mobilize your thoracic spine. But at the same time, we're working on stability of your shoulder. So we're going to get set up here. Your fingers are pointed away from your body. You're going to give me that crappy posture, that huge shrug. You're going to push away. And so this is your tall, oblique sitting position. It's a developmental position that little kids do. But we can just call it tall, tall sitting, whatever you want. You're going to side bend towards your hand, side bend away. 5 times in each direction, and then we're going to the other side and starting from the low position. 2, 2. I just have my hand here so I can feel that I'm actually not rotating. I'm just purely side bending my thoracic spine. 4 and 5. Okay, so I'm going to switch my legs around. I'm going back down into that low sitting position. Little kids will do this before they pop themselves up to do whatever they're going to do up here. Give yourself that terrible shrug and then push away. And then we're side bending and side bending. 5 times each side, mobilizing that thoracic spine. Maybe you get some cracks, maybe you get some pops. Maybe as you side bend in each direction, it makes it difficult for you to breathe because you're compressing your lungs. And that's okay. We want to be able to force air in and out. We want to be able to compress our ribs, get some mobility in our thoracic spine. 5, okay. And popping back up into tall sit. Give me that crappy shoulder posture. Fingers pointed away, and then push away. Nice long neck on both sides. Side bend. Oh, I'm a little bit tighter on this side. Towards and away. 2, really pushing away with my hand. 3, oh boy. 4, and last one, 5. Okay, so, all right. We've run through a bunch of thoracic spine mobility stuff. Now it's got to kind of be shelved, and now we're going to use it while we go through some stability stuff. So we can now probably get into a little bit taller posture if we've been sitting at our computers all day. We've got our mid-back rounded like this, and now we can maybe be a little bit more upright. And we're going to build upon the neck isometrics that we went over last week. So typically this stuff can kind of just be follow along, but if you didn't catch last week, we went over some isometrics where we were pushing on our head but creating no movement, being really rigid in our neck. But now we want to use our strength through range of motion because that's stability. And so we're going to actually be pushing on our head in all 4 directions, but while moving our head. So the easiest one to start with is just pushing forward with your head into your hands and letting it go through range of motion. So I'm going to show you from the side for 3 reps. I'll show you the front and the back, and then I'll change so you can see side and side. So we're doing 3 repetitions, and I'm applying about what I would say is a 25% push with my hands and my head, okay? I don't want this to be something that is like the hardest thing I do. I don't want to make all the muscles in my neck feel like they're gonna explode, okay? I just want to feel like the muscles in my neck are doing a little bit of work. Okay, so if you were doing bicep curls, it's something that you could probably do like a weight that you could do, 50 reps with. It's just a little bit of load. And so my hands are going in front of my forehead, and I'm gonna go forward, and then I'm controlling the way back as well during the eccentric phase. I'm going all the way back and all the way forward. We're just doing 3 reps. I can feel the right side of my neck working a little bit more than the left, and that's okay. And 3, and 3. Okay, so that was for the front of my neck. I'm controlling in the concentric or the shortening phase and the eccentric phase of that movement, because we don't want to ignore that. That would be like doing a bicep curl and then just letting the weight fall if we ignored the eccentric phase. So now we're going to work on the muscles in the back of our neck. Hands going back. And I'm going to push back and then control forward. Going through as much range of motion as you're comfortable. Always putting tension into your neck. And 3, and 3. Okay. If this is something that you think feels good, it actually maybe makes you have better posture, maybe it actually loosens up your neck. When you do it, you want to actually shoot for about 5 repetitions. And you want to spread it out throughout your day. Maybe you do 4 sets of 5 throughout your day. Morning, mid-morning, after lunch, evening, that kind of thing. So we still have to go side to side. And so closing down, pushing my head to the right, and then going all the way through the whole range of motion to the left. And then pushing. You need to do lots of weird faces. 2, and 1 more. But this goes to show you don't need much equipment to make a big difference in the way you feel. Now we're going to the other side. And so there's a crack. 1, 2 more. 2. Maybe you woke up with a stiff neck. This guy can actually help you out. 3. Okay. Maybe you have all that tension in the back or in the side of your neck. Maybe using it around, pumping some blood in there, telling you when to turn on, when to turn off can help you out. So those are 4-way neck concentric and eccentric contractions. Once again, if you're going to do those throughout your day, it's 4 to 5 sets of 5 repetitions throughout your day. Where are we here? Oh, okay. So now we're going to start to incorporate a little bit of towel work, some isometrics for our rotator cuff. And then we're going to load it all up with a plank variation. As you can see, I can turn a plank into an exercise for just about anything in your body. It's going to help support your neck and your shoulders and your trunk and help you breathe and open up your rib cage and all that stuff just through planking. But a couple weeks ago, we're going to grab our towel, underhand grip, shoulder width apart. We went over isometrics where we were pulling and then relaxing. We're working on the external rotators of our shoulder, guys that produce lots of stability through range of motion. But we're going to actually incorporate some of your thoracic mobility that we worked on earlier with a down and back position of our shoulder blade. And so to do this, we're only going to make 5 reps on each side, so we'll do 10 reps total. You're going to actually, before you pull, I'll show you from the side here, before you pull, you're going to rotate your body as far as you can to the right. Elbows are still locked to your side. So now we've used some of that mobility in our thoracic spine. Now we're going to pull and relax 5 times. 1, 2, nice tall posture. 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to go the other way. And why the rotation? Well, the rotation passively puts your back shoulder in a retracted position, 1, which is a position of rigidity or stability. And so sometimes if you're struggling where you're just producing external rotation and you want to shrug, sometimes if we can get you to rotate, you're actually going to be putting your shoulder into 3, a position of stability, and you can introduce some muscle activation there. 4, 5, I don't know, 1 more. And 5. Okay. So don't put your towel away, because we're going to need it for our plank. If you're just using a strap, you can just put that aside though. If you have a towel, I want you to fold it up, kind of a square. And we're going to be putting this on our low back. And we're going to be doing something called block switches, because usually this is done with a yoga block, but the towel will do just fine. And so we're going to be creating stability in our shoulder blade by pushing away with our hands. We're going to have a stable trunk, and we're going to be working on the control of the back of our heads. We're not going to be in this position. We're going to be working on our postural muscles. And just the act of holding a plank is going to allow us to breathe and practice breathing, which is going to help mobilize our thoracic spine. So we're going to put the towel on our low back. My feet are about shoulder width, maybe a little bit wider than shoulder width. And I'm gonna take that towel, touch it to the floor, put it on my back, switch, touch it to the floor, and put it on my back. Now I don't want to be sunk into my shoulder blades like this. That's not a stable position. Pushing away and being stable through my shoulder blade is a stable position. And we're going to do 5 of these on each side. No movement is occurring in your hips. So I'm at 2. If this hurts your wrists, feel free to go down onto your forearms. Makes it a little bit more complicated, but that's okay. 3. Pushing away from the floor. 4. And 5. Okay, so incorporating a lot of things being stable, really actually rigid, which is a form of stability, just within that one specific range of motion. However, putting the towel on your back is requiring you to open up your chest, going through range of motion into internal rotation of your shoulder. So, you're gonna need a minute. We went over an isometric in a forced stability position. We used some stability and created rigidity with our body. And now we're going to create stability or rigidity in our shoulder, in our rotator cuffs. And then we're going to make movement occur in our shoulder joints. Okay, so we're going to have stable shoulder blades and mobile shoulder joints. To do this, you're going to unfold your towel again. You're going to take that underhand grip. You can stand for this, you can tall kneel, that one's up to you. You're gonna be pulling apart, but you're gonna keep your elbows at about a 90-degree bend. So I'm pulling apart, and then I'm reaching up, getting my elbows above my shoulder level, and then back down. Reset, pull apart, and up. And I'm gonna show you for the next 6 from the front. So you'll see my elbows are not flaring, okay? So my hands are pulling apart. Oh, my right one wants to flare though. It's been giving me some issues lately. 3, we're going for 8. 4, pulling apart the whole time. 5, trying not to shrug. 6, 7, and we got one more, and 8. Okay. Oh man. So we're gonna go back to another variation of a plank, which is from, once again, developmental kinesiology. It's something that your little kids would do. It's called the baby plank. It's a plank on your knees, but it's a lot more than that. And then we're gonna progress it to do a little bit of tricep work. The triceps being one of the shoulder control muscles that people often forget about. But if your tricep works poorly or if it's really tight, you go to put your arm above your head, it's gonna take the shoulder blade with it and you're going here. And then you end up with some neck pain, tightness, discomfort, that kind of stuff. So the triceps cannot be ignored when it comes to strength training, stretching, or mobility work. So we're gonna be going down on our bellies. You're gonna have your hands out in front of you at about shoulder width. My elbows are underneath my shoulders. And the first thing I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna slouch. Because slouching, once again, kind of shows us where we don't wanna be. If you're slouched as much as you can be, notice my microphone wasn't plugged in. Okay, maybe that slouch as much as you can be. And you can't slouch anymore. The only thing you have to do is push away. Then you know you're in a great, stable, solid position. So from here, I want to lift my belly button off the floor. Then I want to lift my pelvis off the floor. And I'm in a little baby plank. I don't want to be here, sunk in. I want to be pushing away. And so we're going to be here for 30 seconds, and then we're going to do 5 tricep extensions like that. But we'll get there. I'm shaking like a leaf because I'm breathing and I'm not using my lungs for stability. And we got 8 seconds left. We're just hanging out. We're not making that hard style plank we went over last week. Okay, so we're gonna do 5 tricep push-ups. So from here, your hands stay nice and stable on the ground. Push up, control down. 1, no shrugging. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, rest. Whew. All right, I gotta use this towel. So, we're using our joints through range of motion, but we're expressing lots of control. And that's all stability is, once again. It's just controlling your joints through range of motion. Now, as you improve your range of motion, say you can only get your arm up here, but you work on stretching and mobilizing your shoulder joint, and you get up here. That's great, but if you don't do stability exercises through that full range of motion, you're gonna be back here in no time, okay? So once you gain range of motion, you have to then use it. You can't or you shouldn't just mobilize, stretch, and then don't do anything, okay? So you want to take your new range of motion and use it. And that's how our nervous system and our musculoskeletal system remembers what we can do, and our range of motion improves, the quality of movement that we produce improves. And so this last drill, this last exercise, kind of puts a lot of things together. We talked about thoracic mobility. You're gonna need lots of that. You're gonna need lots of neck stability to produce good posture. And then you're gonna need nice range of motion, flexibility, and control of your shoulders to produce this. If you have any tightness in your hamstrings, this is gonna kind of expose you as well. So this position is called long sitting. Your legs are out, your torso's upright, okay? If you're dumped like this, you're never gonna be able to put your arms above your head, which is what we're gonna be doing. So you might need to go here and do this, and that's great, okay? Takes the tension out of your hamstrings, allows you to sit up a little bit taller. As we're here, we might feel our abs and our hip flexors work really hard, and that's all well and good. It means that we're creating lots of stability in our trunk. And you're gonna take this towel like you're holding a barbell. So it's gonna be roughly shoulder width apart. Your elbows are down by your side, and you're sitting up nice and tall. And so my legs are extended, and we're only gonna do 8 of these. You're tall, tall, tall. I'm pulling the towel apart a little bit, going right past my face, and going overhead. We're gonna make 8. 2. 3. 4. And if you need to go wider with your hands, that might make it a little bit easier for your shoulders. 5. 6. 7. And we got one more. And 8. Okay, so we just went over about 10 things, a little shorter session today, but that's okay. And we were combining mobility of our thoracic spine, flexibility and mobility of our shoulder joint, stability of our shoulder blade, and stability of our neck. With all those things, you're probably going to be able to either improve the way you move, make you feel better. It's going to reduce the amount of tension you have in your upper traps and your neck, especially if you can work on that thoracic mobility and everything can line up a lot easier. It's a lot easier to make and maintain good movement if that's possible. If you can give your body a great, stable, and upright and healthy platform to move off of. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 or 11 things to work on. All things that you can just pick one of them. And every 30 minutes to 1 hour while you're working, preferably every 30 minutes, break up your sitting, work on your stability and your mobility, and see how it can make you feel, okay? It has the ability to really, really change the way that you move in your shoulder and your neck and take some of the tension out of there. So these are all stressful times, and we're all carrying our tension around our necks. So this can help. If you feel like you do, maybe, through all the shoulder stability stuff, your muscles were tensing up, maybe you want to do a nice upper trap stretch. Maybe you want to pop your arm into a door, stretch out your pecs, or even a sleeper stretch. That kind of stuff can help with some of the tension that you might be feeling. But let's see here. Carrie, yes, this is going to be posted I'm gonna sneak some of the stuff broken up into my IG Live, but the whole thing will go to my YouTube channel, which is Kinetic Potential Physical Therapy. I will be sure to put that at the end of these videos. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, please reach out in my direct messages. My email address is kineticpotentialpt@gmail.com. My website is kineticpotentialpt.com. If you reach out to some of the people who have been watching, they'll tell you I will try to get back to you within a couple hours, if not right away. I've been doing some telehealth visits with people. If you feel like you need a little bit more help, maybe we can set something up and I can take you through a nice movement analysis, motion analysis, and injury history, see how I can help you out. So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so all the videos are posted on my YouTube, Kinetic Potential Physical Therapy. You can find that either through YouTube or my website. So guys, thank you so much. And once again, reach out to your loved ones, eat good food, sleep well, and I will see you Friday for the hip and knee clinic, okay? So we'll go over a bunch of stretching and mobility stuff for the hips and knees. So I'll see you guys there. Take care.